This will be for the con assignment, identify marginal and conditional distributions. Okay, so you might want to write this down here. The difference is that a marginal distribution is based on the total. Okay, so typically you can see the marginal distribution in the margin. All right, and these numbers here are based on this total right here. Okay, they can be subtotals or they can be percentages. And conditional distribution is limited to a certain condition. Okay, so if you limited yourself to one of these subheadings like number of wins or how many play chess, that would be a conditional distribution. So here they ask, what is the best description of the distribution boxed in the second row of the table above? Okay. So this is from someone recording his outcomes for 3 games that he played this summer. Okay, so he just recorded his outcomes for chess, checkers, and Mancala, and the wins and losses. All right. Since this row is limited to checkers, before I even look at my answers, I am going to guess it is a conditional distribution, okay, because it's dependent upon one condition, and that's just checkers. All right. So before I look at the answers, I'm going to say it is the conditional distribution for wins and losses in checkers. Let's see. A and B say marginal. C says conditional game for wins. D is the conditional distribution of outcome for checkers. So it's answer D. Okay, it can't be C because C just says wins in general. So it can't be C. It has to be for checkers. See that? A veterinarian collected data about the kinds and sources of pets. Here is some of the data. Okay, they have the source of the pet and dogs and cats. The graph of which distribution is shown below? All right, so let me see if I can make this smaller. Okay, this graph here, it's based on shelter, family or friends, store, breeder, stray. This graph here is based on the pet source, okay? And it's basically this distribution right here, because these totals right here are for the pet sources, okay? So the percentages here for each one, like for the store or breeder, the percentage is going to be 70 divided by 290, all right? You don't have to do that. They did it already on the graph for you. But since they're giving you the percentages for these topics here, which are the pet source, this is going to be a marginal distribution, okay? Before I even look at the answers, I can tell this is a marginal distribution for pet source because these are based on totals. These aren't limited to any topic. All right, so it's going to be marginal for pet source. A says marginal, but that's for kind of pets. That's not it. B says marginal of pet source, so that's it. All right, C and D are conditional, but they're not correct, you can tell, because C says kind of pet. These have nothing to do with the kind of pet. And D says pet source for dogs. Well, these are not limited to dogs. So I know it's answer B. Okay, without even reading the write-up, we can see this column right here is limited to when the trains were delayed. All right, so these are dependent on a certain condition, only the delayed trains, okay? So already I can tell this is a conditional distribution of the delayed trains. Let me see. It's definitely not A or B because those say marginal. Conditional distribution of weather type for delayed trains. That's it. Okay. See, these are all delayed, and they have 3 for snowy, 5 for cloudy, and so on. So it's definitely conditional. All right, one more. So-and-so has been recording his outcomes for 3 games he played. Same chart we saw before, but different question. The graph of which distribution is shown below? Here's the graph. All right. And it's a wins and losses graph. All right. And they add up to 100%. The wins and the losses right here are these totals. Okay. So it's not just dependent on any one condition. This is both wins and losses. And these are based on the totals. All right. This is going to be a marginal, not conditional, because it's non-specific. It's not limited. All right. It's going to be a marginal distribution of wins and losses. Okay. A and B say conditional. Marginal says game played. No. D says marginal distribution of outcome, and the outcome are wins and losses. I made a mistake. Picked the wrong answer, and here's why. I did not look at this carefully enough. These are the wins and losses for one specific game, Mancala. Okay, I didn't see that at first. I thought it was just wins and losses overall. So this is definitely conditional, all right, because it depends on this condition, that it's the game of Mancala. All right, so it's the conditional distribution for Mancala. Okay, that's answer A, conditional distribution of outcome for Mancala.